Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Five and a Half Legs Virtual Cigar Lounge with Bones, myself, Maverick, and we have a special guest, Morty Thax, we call him. That's our other guy, Mort's son. And we're here to give you an hour, maybe less, maybe more, of entertainment. Welcome to the show.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We got a special guest coming on.
Okay.
Kerr's coming on. He got a new load.
Carvalente?
He got a new load of cigars in today.
Nice.
All four of them. Again, he got the Sandela, the Grass Gringo, the Dick Tony, and the B35, all Lancero.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
You like Lanceros.
Yes, I do. You got to smoke them different, though, man. You can't smoke them like you smoke these.
Yeah.
You got to slow down. And
You got to take your time with it, right?
Yeah, because it burns a lot quicker, man. But we got some
interesting stuff on the.
Oh, absolutely. I was talking to Morty about that a little bit earlier, man. About the football and Brian Flores.
Yeah, from Miami. He opened a can of worms.
That's bigger than Gruden.
It's up there for sure.
I think somebody's going to get kicked out of the NFL for this one, man. So he can explain it better.
As far as what was released today, we heard that the coach of the New England Patriots, Bill Belichick, texted Brian Flores prior to
Welcome, gentlemen.
Prior to his interview.
Okay.
Flores was supposed to interview with the New York Giants.
So my Giants are going to get in trouble for this.
Bill Belichick sent Flores a text and said, "Hey, the job's already been spoken for. They already got their guy." This was before Brian Flores was even
Considered? Wow.
And now, of course, according to the Rooney Rule, they have to interview a minority candidate.
Right.
So the fact that he wasn't interviewed yet and the job was already spoken for, we don't know what's going to happen.
So technically, they shouldn't have said, what's it, Dobell, or I don't even know how to pronounce his freaking name. They shouldn't have said he was the Giants' new coach or their guy until after they interviewed Flores.
Right.
They could have said it 5 minutes after they interviewed him and said, "No, we're going in a different direction." But I don't think it's right that you have to interview a minority just because you interview who you think is a good fit for your team. Don't tell me who I have to. It's my team. Don't tell me who I have to hire or who I have to interview. I interview who I want to interview. Now, if they have a minimum requirement, like if I get a list of folks at work, this is a government job. If I get a list of folks at work and 10 people show up, yeah, Mort, look at that beard. He grew that overnight. And welcome, Kerr. And if I say I want to interview somebody, I have to interview everybody that shows up on the list.
Right.
Now, whether or not I could pick 5, but the 5 I pick, I have to interview all of them.
Okay.
You know, which is fair.
Right.
Or if I don't want to interview anybody, I just take who I want off of resumes.
Right.
Which is always a bad thing because then you never get to talk to the person. You don't know.
You don't feel them out and everything.
You got to feel something.
You don't know if they're a cultural fit.
Yeah. I mean, Flores is the guy that got fired.
Well, he's saying also that he was paid bag a game.
Any game he lost, he was supposedly offered
$100,000.
That you have to. I have to see proof of that.
He has to have proof of that.
Yeah.
He has to have real serious proof of that.
Why would
That's a pretty serious accusation, though.
Why would you say that if he didn't? That's not like saying, "Oh, he rubbed me a little bit the wrong way."
Right.
I don't get it. Why would you say something like that unless you have proof?
I don't know. But
to me, he seems like a straight shooter.
You think he is? You think he's telling the truth about a lot of this stuff?
I don't think he's bullshitting.
Wow.
So
wow.
What do you smoke? I am smoking the Perdomo Lot 23. I guess it's a nub. It was a little bit longer before, but it's a show. It's a good smoke. I like it.
Yeah, I like that smoke myself.
I've never had a problem with a Perdomo. I always feel that it burns well. It always
tastes great.
Just never had a problem with it.
Just not less filling.
Well, he's smoking a good one too.
I'm smoking the
Painkiller?
GTO Maduro Painkiller.
And Bones will have to tell you what I'm smoking because I don't know.
but he likes it.
But so far, it tastes nice.
Mav is smoking a new blend from Doc Rodriguez and GTO.
Yes.
He didn't tell me the name, didn't tell me what's in it, just told me it's been aged 10 years and then 2 years in an oak barrel. It's the same filler for all three. He's got a Corojo, a Sumatra, and a Maduro. I smoked the Maduro the other night, thought it was fantastic. I thought the Corojo
That's what I'm smoking now. I'm smoking the Corojo.
was as good, if not better, than the Maduro.
This is tasting pretty fine.
And I'm going to smoke the Sumatra.
Now, my favorite thing from GTO's cigars is the La Cura.
Oh,
That's a wonderful cigar that he came out with. And when I get about halfway through this, I'll give you my review.
I made the statement.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
I made
It
the
tastes so
statement the
good
other
right
night
now.
to his dad that I compared the two of those to the La Cure, and I thought they were probably as good, if not maybe
Really?
better. They were that good. This one's good. The one I'm really looking forward to smoking is the guy in the bottom there, Mr.
Valente.
behind him. He got a delivery today. I'm growing it out, man. The wife did not like the goatee when I had it all down long, so I cut it short and I'm letting it. But I'm gonna let it all. It's gonna take me a while to get that long, but
That's a year.
I think I can make it though. I can about
You
6
think
months.
you'll not cut your beard for 6 months?
Yeah, I'll do it.
Wow.
But I wanted it to be all even. So
Yeah. Well, then you just have to go get it shaped. That's all.
And I got a new guy, Cliff. I went back to Cliff, and I
Yeah,
like the
Cliff's
work.
great. I like
I
Cliff.
like the work he does.
That's who
man.
does. He does my my beard and my haircuts.
He does the towels, the
He's
cream. the
he's an
lotion,
old time barber. He learned from his dad over at Cox Barbershop.
His dad's got to be 75 years old.
I guess. Yeah.
He's all
Yeah.
the way.
In the corner.
Right in front-
Yeah.
yeah.
Murph, the original Murph.
That's his.
Him and his dad started Bobby Cox's dad, and Murph started the
It's a family business,
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Because
been
Bobby's
forever.
there, and then Bobby's brother-in-law is in
Yeah.
the other corner. Those two got
Gerald.
chairs.
Yeah.
Chairs together. I learned a lot of shit. I had Boston Jimmy on the show last night and talked about the TPE and stuff. We talked about it a little bit earlier. The Zippo Lighters. Zippo came out with a new lighter. They said, after you go get a Zippo and people make those cheap inserts to give it a little torch in their side.
yeah.
And Zippo finally said,
We're gonna make a torch for it.
we're wasting money here. Well, why don't we get in on this? And they made it all metal, it closes right. Those
Yeah, you're not
inserts don't
messing
close
with
right.
it. Yeah.
So that's going to be coming on the market. So there's a lot of good stuff that came out of TPE. I wish we went there, but we got football. We had some
We got some
really
serious football.
good football last weekend.
Mm-hmm. We did. I enjoyed it.
2 weekends in a row.
I didn't lose money, but I lost what I bet. I didn't lose a ton of money, but I didn't think Kansas City was going to lose. I wanted to see Burrow win, but I really didn't think he can pull it off. And it wasn't only him; it was the team.
But he did good. He did about 3 or 4 plays that made them first downs that were very important.
Yep.
Big time important.
I'll be the first one to admit I did not think Burrows was going to be any good out of college after LSU. I did not think he was going to make it.
And the second year he's in the Super Bowl.
I'll be the first one to admit, and he's going to be the first. If he can pull it off, he will be the first quarterback to ever win the national championship, the Heisman, and the Super Bowl in his second year.
Yep. Stephen A. Smith from ESPN, First Take.
He's an idiot.
One of the guy, I forget the other guy on the show, he brings on the show, that said Burrow was going to get to the Super Bowl this year.
That was Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, that's it, Dan. And Stephen A. would not give him his kudos on it. He just wouldn't give him his kudos. He said Burrow is going to be something special. I think he's going to get to the playoffs and then even to the Super Bowl this year.
Rex Ryan this year said earlier that no, they ain't winning, Kerr. I think I really do think Cincinnati is going to pull it off. I'll bet you a 4-pack of those new Lanceros.
So we got the big game coming up, not this Sunday, the following Sunday. We got the Pro Bowl this Sunday, which used to be fun to watch after the Super Bowl. It used to be fun because you seen the week's activities and the parties, and it ain't the same thing anymore. And it was always held in Hawaii.
Now it's Orlando, isn't it? I think it's
I think.
Orlando.
No, it's in Vegas.
It's in Vegas this year?
Who said that?
Who said? We're still on, guys. We're camera. We just saw a picture.
But it used to be fun to watch. You know what I mean? and seeing the players interact with one another and having a good time. Now it's kind of bogus.
Well, there's a couple of people that I think they just put Derek Carr and Russell Wilson on the roster.
Yep.
And Dak Prescott turned it down for whatever reason.
Well, Brady and Rodgers both pulled out due to injury. So what the article said, so they invited Kirk Cousins and Russell Wilson.
You know, why would, and even if he could play, why would Brady play in the last Pro Bowl? If he knew he was going to retire, playing the last Pro Bowl and really take a chance of getting hurt in his very last freaking game.
No.
You know, I mean, he probably wouldn't play that long because they usually don't play that
first
long.
quarter or something like that.
I would not want to go.
Oh, shit. You know what? That game's a BS game anyway. They shouldn't be walloping nobody. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Nobody should be getting walloped in that game because that could be the end of their career or something like that. And something that doesn't mean nothing. I don't know. What do you think, Mort?
I mean, I would say, why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he go to the Pro Bowl? I mean, you're talking your last opportunity to shake hands with guys.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
At a super high level every season, specifically this one. Why wouldn't he make this his farewell game? But I also understand why he wouldn't. You know,
it would be pretty cool.
Plus, he could win the Pro Bowl and go out a winner instead of a loser because his last game he lost.
Yep.
It wasn't a good last game either, man. I didn't think. Before we bring on Kerr, I watched something this weekend. I was going through the channels, and this, you guys both like, we all like sports, but this was shit that just threw me for. They actually have professional pickleball associations. Okay, it looked like a giant-sized freaking ping pong game, life-size ping pong.
Yeah.
Game. I'd like to try it, but this other one that I saw really threw me for a freaking loop. And they had handles on the bags and everything, the grip and all this shit. Professional pillow fighting.
Yep, and it's not the kind that ends with tickles. You know?
No, dude, they were just beating the shit out of each other.
You ever got walloped with a pillow, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
It spins your head for a little loop. You know what I mean?
These guys look like some of them MMA fighters with freaking pillows.
I'm just saying, is that can give you, a good heavy feathered pillow will give you a good wallop.
I don't think they're using feather pillows either. It looks more like a foam pillow, like a memory foam pillow.
Yeah,
that's those right. Things look like they hurt.
Giselle's in charge. It's called the power of the Poo-Tang.
Yeah, we know that.
All right.
So there's Mr. Kerr.
What's up?
What's going on, gentlemen?
Oh, okay. How you doing?
Not too bad, man. How are you guys doing?
Excellent. It was 65 here today.
I can't see Bones and Mort or Mav. Do you guys have the?
I got to change the picture.
Hold on.
There you go. Hey guys.
There we go. Yeah, it was 65 here today, Kerr.
Yeah, we got up in the 50s finally. It's been chilly down there. It's been a while since I've been on and chatted with you guys.
Yeah.
I mean, Mav, you're looking great. Bones, you're looking incredible. And Mort looks like he's found the fountain of youth.
It looks a lot like his dad. That's a fact, man.
Yeah, he definitely. I was like, hell, I was like, man, is that? Oh, okay. So the eyesight's getting bad.
I would ask you what new you got going on with Stokely Road Cigars, but you sent me that text. You got fill us in, man.
Oh man, we got all sorts of good stuff going on.
Yeah, that's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, this is only half of it. We got to take a break. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, things are going well. The exaggeration of my demise has been grossly exaggerated. These are.
I didn't hear anything like that.
It's a joke. That's an old joke.
Oh, okay. My bad.
It's all right, Bones. We got our Lanceros in. We got our Robustos in, the 5x56. We got our Lanceros in, and we got some more Toros. So really excited about. I just smoked. I'm gonna go out and finish up the Big Tony 5x56. I got to tell you something. Wow, that might be my new favorite my new favorite Vitola. I was really happy with it. Yeah.
Did you say Robusto?
Yeah, 5x56.
Oh, nice.
Yep. They
Box press?
no. No, I've had the failed experiment with box press. This 5x56 is delicious. It is. I had to step away from it. It had a lot of punch to it. And then the Lanceros.
The Big Tony's a good,
Nice.
good smoke.
Yeah, it is.
I cannot wait to smoke all 4 blends in the Robusto. The guys at the factory were smoking the Sandella Robusto, and they were talking about how great it was. And I'm a big fan of Sandella. I think that was a sleeper out of all the blends that we have. But yeah, these just came in today. There's something new in that little pack too.
There's what?
Something new.
I said there is something new in the pack too that we're going to be doing for events. We got some event cigars, exclusively
nice.
exclusively for events, and that is it. It's the only way you can get them. So at least that's the idea right now. At least, I mean, that could always change. You know how that goes. Because I can tell you with COVID, man, things are, I was sick the first part of the year, and I don't want to be sick like that again.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't. Now, has COVID slowed? Because we were talking to John Converse from Perdomo yesterday. He was in here, and he was saying how their deliveries are slowing down on the East Coast coming into Florida because of the boat sitting out there for 3, 4, 5 days before they even get to the port, and then it just slows everything down. You having the same problem?
No, not so far. I mean, the challenging part about this with this delivery was just the availability of wood and getting boxes. And we had a move, and I made a decision to go with cellophane and with butcher paper for these, just because that's every area has their challenges. So
I prefer boxes are nice. You can get them signed, put them on the wall, whatever. But I would just think that the cellophane and the butcher paper would be just a lot easier and a lot quicker.
it is.
Make
It is a lot easier. You get more in a box. Shipping's probably less expensive. The whole 9 yards. But the box. Pardon me. The box concept that we had for the Lanceros was pretty freaking awesome. It's just, with what we wanted to do with it and the availability of wood and such, it was just a little challenging. It was going to be a little bit different than how normal boxes open and the coloration. It was really had a great concept because they did build a concept box that I loved. It was just, you have enough wood to make one box, but then, you got to make several hundred boxes. I guess a little bit more challenging, I guess.
I would think. I would think so, but
Yeah.
I wanted to get them out here. I mean, it's been, I've had a lot of people ask me about the Lanceros and the Robustos. Bones, I know you and I have gone back and forth about the Lanceros. And I have a couple of shops, especially one of the local shops here, that's been looking for the Robustos for a while. It's a 5x56. I went with a little bit bigger ring gauge. I was just like, let's get them up here. So, I mean, the cigars speak for themselves. All the other BS around it, the cigars are fantastic.
I got to ask this. This is probably a stupid question, but when the rollers are out there rolling the 5x56 or the 60s or 60 by 60, how do they don't use a mold, because I know it goes in the mold after the fact, but they just do it by feel, the size 5x.
Yeah, I mean it's working out the blends and how much tobacco's in a bigger ring gauge, a smaller ring gauge, and then once you get and that's what you got to do is once you get the blend that you're looking for and that you want, you have the blend or the tobacco that you're working with the Arturo. Then when you go to a 56 ring gauge, you got to take into consideration you're going to need more tobacco. So you have to work out how much more tobacco, the percentages that you want to increase. And then once you get that recipe down, then it's just rinse and repeat. And it's the same thing with the Lanceros, is reducing the amount of tobacco, right? So when you're going from a 52 ring gauge to a 38 or a 40 ring gauge or what have you, you're going to have to figure out where the reduction in your tobacco is going to be. And then from there, you figure out what the blend is, you smoke it, you test it. And if it's what you're looking for, then that's the recipe, that's what you follow.
So how long from the time of concept to production?
Well, it's I already had the blends from before, but there was a lot of improvements that I wanted and as we were working out originally, now I've been with Tabacalera Nuevo Nica. It'll be a year coming up when Chris and I shook hands and moved forward with utilize work with their factory. And as you're working through, and what the one great thing about Chris when we were talking and we were working out the blends, what he was doing and what the factory was doing is they were working out the blends, and as soon as I gave the okay on the blends, or we tweaked the blend, he started making other Vitola sizes right away. So last year, when we went into production with the Toros, there was already a Lancero, a Robusto, a Churchill. He was already working out different Vitolas with different tobaccos in anticipation of the next step of growth for Stogie Road cigars.
Wow.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's very smart. He's very selfless. And
he's young too, man. He's
young kid.
55 years old.
I think he's late 30s, early 40s. Real nice guy. Easy to work with. He and I. It's funny is we kind of have same stomping grounds a little bit. He's from the Delaware area, and I went to school in Delaware, and he hung out, and he knows a lot of people in the Philly area. So Mav, he's in your backyard, right across the right across in Delaware, that northern area, Christiana, Hockessin area.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and I have a lot of friends in that area as well. So we had, he and I are friends with, we have common friends that were in the Wilmington Police Department, and we just hit it off, and we communicate pretty well. I think it's, you kind of have that ability to just connect really quick when you have some commonality there.
Yeah, sure.
Wow.
It's a little bit different communication style, right, Mav? You guys know it too. You're from New York or, Jersey, and you connect with someone from New York. It's like, the accent pops out and you start freaking talking. It's like you get into the groove.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what happened with me and when I first met Boston Jimmy. You would think he's from Boston, but he's not. He's raised in New York.
Yeah, exactly.
A lot of the same bars, a lot of the same.
Yeah, sure.
At the same times too. So it's just like, what's the chances? That you might have ran into somebody in the bar that you don't. But
he's got that mixed accent like Jennifer. Jennifer's from northern Jersey, but she spent 10 years in Boston, in school and stuff. So she kind of has that slurry New York Boston accent.
Yeah, we won't hold the Jersey against him.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, it's for now.
But her uncle has a bagel shop down there, doesn't he?
No, it's they're friends. It's like we're down in South Carolina, and it's almost like there's a Jersey beacons that go off that they all end up finding each other. So her father does baked goods, and he actually sells his baked goods in a bagel shop called Jersey Brothers. That the guys who own it are from Jersey.
You're right.
I heard something the other day. Somebody, who was it? Rocco came in.
Yeah.
Said he went to a place in Mobile called Phillies. And he said blows Tony Nelson's away. He
Really?
said it is like Philly. He goes, it is
Yeah.
a true Philly cheesesteak sandwich.
Well, you gotta get the bread's the thing there, and the meats that they use. You know what I mean? You just can't use any meat and call it a Philly
No.
cheesesteak. You know
No,
what I mean? It's totally different. Because I went to Tony Nelson's here and I thought it was good, but I said, well, I didn't go. I didn't make 10 trips there yet, so
He's on
it
9.
didn't
Shit, he hasn't
really
even been
float my boat.
He hasn't even been to Hart's Chicken. He's been here 13 years.
Jeez.
Yeah, I haven't been to Hart's Chicken. It's down the block. I've been here going on 14 years.
Some of the best fried chicken you ever had, man.
really. Yeah, Mav. When I lived in Pittsburgh,
We're gonna have to take care of that.
there was a place called Philly Cheesesteaks, and the owner was from Philly, and he moved to Pittsburgh, and he worked in different restaurants, and I'll tell you what, some of the best Philly cheesesteaks, and you're right, it's all about the bread, the meats, and then it's always about the cheese. Everyone tries to make a Philly cheesesteak with provolone and this and that. No, you need Cheez Whiz. You need that cheese that is a molecule away from being plastic in a squeezy bottle, and that's what
they have that big ladle, or not ladle, a spatula. The thin one. They put it in there and they boom. It's a technique to it. If you're not doing it like that, you're not doing it. You know what I mean?
Most definitely. So it's tough finding. So you down south. We have a couple good pizza places here and there, a good Italian place, but it's really tough to find someone that makes a good Philly cheesesteak.
So where is this? Where is your first event going to be with that event cigar?
I don't know yet. Most likely going to be Bodas Cigars. That's right up the road from me. The owner, I'm good friends with the owner. He's such a great guy. I've been going to them for years. The folks there, actually, the guy Rex, who I tagged and called the Big Tony, it was the Little Rexy edition. He's the one. He smoked the Big Tony for the first time. It was the first shop I hit, and I brought in the new stuff, swapped out the old stuff, said, here you go. And he smoked the Big Tony, was walking around the bar. And he is always busting my balls because he likes bigger ring gauges. And I'm a Lancero guy. So he walks over and he puts a sticky pad down and walks away from it. I look down, he wrote Big Tony 5x56. And he just looked at me. He goes, this cigar is great. He goes, but you got to make that in a 5x56. And I picked up the phone and I called Chris and I said, hey, can we do a 5x56? He says, sure thing. And that's where the Vitola came from. So it was kind of funny, because I was going to do. Chris had already, we've already developed like the 5x50, 5x52. I'm not a very big ring gauge. I don't go up in the 60s plus, but I think I had a Vita La Vida or something like that was a 5x56, and it was the right ring gauge for me. So when Rex put that notepad or sticky pad on my table, and he's a guy he's been in the cigar business for a while. He works at my backyard shop that's been a huge supporter of Stogie Road cigars, and he's telling me, hey, this is a Vitola you should consider. I'm going to take it serious.
So when's going to be the first Stogie Road Cigars factory tour?
That's a great question. I mean, I was going to go to TPE this year, but I got sick. I was just out. I've actually reduced the amount of cigars that I smoke. I don't even smoke that many now. And I just got my taste back as like the 18th of the month. Everything. I was drinking coffee. I was trying to drink coffee when I started feeling better, and everything tastes like burnt hair. It was horrible. And
do you have to reestablish a palate after that? I mean, it doesn't come back right away?
No, it doesn't. Well, what's funny about it is it was almost like flipping a switch. Like I tried smoking a cigar, and I tried smoking 3 different cigars. I tried to smoke a Connecticut, I tried to smoke Maduro, and I tried to smoke a Sweetgrass Gringo, and all of them taste the same. Burnt hair, horrible.
So was
and
it everything you lost taste in for everything, or was it
I did for a while. I did. The only thing I could really taste was sweet and salty.
That's what one of the guys that came up here, Yogi,
Yeah.
he was talking about how he could only taste certain things.
Spices or something. That's it.
Yeah, he said
It was just
really
sweet, sweet and salty. I'd eat Honey Nut Cheerios. I could tell that it was sweet, but that was it. We got fried chicken from one of the places around here, and it was really salty. I could just taste it was salty. And then I couldn't even smell coffee. Just it made me sick. Even looking and smelling cigars just that are not lit made me sick. And then when I tried to smoke it, and then I tried to drink a cup of coffee, and it was, like I said, that was that really nasty burnt hair flavor. And then I sat down. I woke up one morning, and the coffee smelled good.
Oh.
So I grabbed a cup of coffee, and I grabbed the Sandela, and I came out, and I smoked the Sandela, and it was like my taste buds and my palate just came to life. It was one of the best cigars I've ever smoked, and I think it was one of the best cigars I ever smoked because A, it's my cigar, and B, I was so grateful and happy to have my taste buds back because I was really concerned because we know people that don't, they haven't had their taste and smell return in a year.
Yeah.
Really?
So I was really concerned
That's
about
crazy.
that. Yeah. I was a little on the, oh boy, I can't see this. That'd be a bitch, right? You're a cigar brand owner and you can't even smoke cigars and everything else. So it was pretty crazy. But it was literally like someone flipped a switch, and the next thing I know, I was like, man, this is the Sandela. I was like, this cigar is fantastic. I was like, well, it's fantastic because I can finally taste a cigar. But it was. There was I had some concerns there for a little bit.
Well, we're going to take a quick 1 minute break for some sponsors. You want to read?
Sure.
Hit 'em up.
What do I need to read?
Comes across on the boundary. First sponsor.
All right, our first sponsor is GTO Cigars. Those who know, smoke GTO. 334-538-2949.
And the man himself will answer the phone.
The man himself.
And he guarantees everything, 100%, believe it or not.
Every time.
Then we have...
Our next sponsor is the Cigar Enthusiast at cigarenthusiast.com. Sponsor cigarprop.com with Kevin and Jessica.
Good friends of theirs. They do the Broad Street Bullies with Kerr and Jennifer, Jen on Monday nights, right? No.
Well,
Sunday.
it's the Broadleaf Bullies, and we do it. So we record it Sunday. I'm about ready to drop it into the Spotify tonight. We started off season 4.
So what was it? What do you think? What was that deal with Spotify dropping because of what?
So Neil Young said that unless Spotify removed Joe Rogan's podcast due to misinformation to COVID-19, that he would remove his music. So Spotify preemptively removed Neil Young's music.
Then a couple other guys came up.
And then there's been more artists that have said that they were going to remove. Now Spotify's looking at corrective action, not towards Joe Rogan specifically, but to work on their terms of services, kind of how Twitter did.
Yeah.
And how Facebook did, because it seems like what they're moving forward with isn't necessarily fair or just. Now, with the Neil Young thing, the interesting part of Neil Young removing his music was 60% of his streams come from Spotify. So that's 60% of his cash flow from streaming services is now gone.
Yeah, that's a lot of dough.
And
that's a lot of dough.
Yeah.
What makes them say that Joe Rogan's is misinformation? I mean, that's everybody. That's a person's certain opinion, isn't it?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
He's more in the medical field. He would know. I don't.
I read a little bit about it, and I actually think Spotify looked into it and came up with the conclusion that Joe Rogan didn't violate any of their rules, right?
Right.
But it's like anything else. I mean, it's a cancel culture. It's people trying to use their leverage their power to manipulate the situation, and that's all Neil. I'm a big Neil Young fan. I am. I'm a huge
Oh,
Neil
me
Young
too.
fan. But I think you're starting, in my opinion, you're starting to kind of walk the fine line of really stepping on people's freedom, free speech. And you got to remember too, this is a group of a lot of the folks that are part of this cancel culture. They're the same ones who years ago, they're bitching and complaining that you can't, there's too much regulations. Why can't you do and say this on TV? It's ridiculous. And why can't you have this and that? And it just basically boils down to kind of like, you can have freedom of speech as long as it's the speech that I agree with.
Right. I read an article yesterday about down at Disneyland. They got the which ride is that? The Tom Sawyer ride. Float around and look at all this shit, right? And there's a sign that says Injun Joe. So people complained about it. So now they say they're going to paint over and put something else on it.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that there's going to be some areas that are, being culturally sensitive and racially sensitive, and I respect and understand 100%. And then there are certain things that are just a part of, I listen. I'd much rather have them paint over a sign, Injun Joe, and freaking put whatever, than have them remove all the books and burn the books Tom Sawyer removed.
That's good. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And Disney has to make their they're going to make their decision, shit like that. It's unfortunate because I don't know exactly what Joe Rogan said it was talking about. I've heard some of the stuff he's done and said about COVID-19. I've heard a lot of things that Ted Nugent, a lot of people who have said about COVID-19 and the vaccination, and I'll agree with it. But one of the number one things, and it's funny, Howard Stern was always the biggest proponent of this. And Bones, you probably remember this, and Mav listened to Howard Stern back in the day in Philly and New York.
Yep.
He always used to say, if you don't like what you hear, turn the channel.
Absolutely.
And now that ridiculous hypocrites running around, and he's blasting Joe Rogan as well. I'm sitting there thinking, weren't you the guy who always said if you didn't agree with what someone's saying, turn the channel. If you don't like what's on TV, turn the channel. Turn something else on. There's a lot of selections out there. So if you don't like Joe Rogan and you want to you really want to make some waves, then don't listen to his podcast. Watch his let Spotify make some decisions based off of the people who are subscribing and listening to his show.
He's the number one podcast out there, isn't he?
Yes.
Oh my God, yeah, he's ridiculous.
He has been for a long time.
He's
signed a big contract.
I mean, again, it's his opinion. Whether or not I know he's right or not, I don't know.
Right.
I'm not going to stop listening to him because he's just talking. I mean, that's a part of. My daughter loves him. Caitlin, she loves Joe Rogan.
Now he's under a microscope now.
What's that?
He's under a microscope now, and I've seen them. They're pulling other things that he's saying. And if you've ever watched, like him or not, but if you ever watch and listen to any clips on YouTube or you listen to his podcast, for what you see, if you look at him, you think he's going to be some meathead and MMA guy. The guy is smart. He's highly intelligent, and he's always prepared and knowledgeable when he has guests on. And his conversations are always interactive, and I find his podcast very entertaining because of how prepared he is and how smart he is, and he's articulate.
Yeah, and if he's not a subject matter expert on it, he'll openly admit that he knows nothing about it.
Right. Yep.
And that's different than what most people who have the microphone do. I would say my biggest issue with the whole Neil Young thing is, how are you going to try and force a company who just gave a man $100 million contract to take him off their streaming service? Like, who are you? Like, yeah, you're Neil Young, we get that, but $100 million, that's not chump change.
No, it ain't.
and they would still owe him that
No.
if they pulled him off for no cause.
Nope.
He ain't gonna do that.
And he would go straight back to YouTube and continue making more money than what he was. You know?
Right. Sure he would.
No.
I do like watching him on UFC. Though. He has the same expression every time there's a fight that he sees something that excites him or something. It's
Yeah.
the same move, throwing the hands up. And
Yeah.
Yep. You wouldn't know what fight you're watching. But Kurt, we've been trying to give this away. We got a bunch of these from a local shop over in Mobile. They were just sitting there. They didn't. They said, you want to give? This is a Drew Estates Rebirth of Cigars can that's got a notepad, which Mav wants, and he's not going to get with a pen. A little flag, a nice set of dominoes if you play dominoes, a nice Drew Estates coin with a bottle opener in it, and 4 hard plastic coasters. We can't give it away. Nobody can answer our trivia questions.
What's your trivia question?
So tonight, and you'll have the Jeopardy music to whoever's online will have the Jeopardy music to get it. If you can, now he might answer it. He might be able to answer this. This is a.
Are we putting this question out right now?
Yeah.
Okay, let's put it out.
Who turned the Lord's Prayer into an international rock hit?
An international rock hit. Well, I don't know about an international rock hit. I know Pavarotti made it very popular with his in opera with his singing. I don't think I've ever heard of the Lord's Prayer as a rock song.
I read the article and then I went on YouTube and listened to the song, and it was actually, I'll tell you, it's a female. She did a really good job with it, fantastic job with it. But
Whitney Houston?
Nope, we're talking black and white video.
Wow.
Oh, wow! And a rock hit, black and white. Because you said black and white video. A black and white video with a female that made the Lord's Prayer into a rock hit.
Yep. Yeah.
Ah, man,
Ooh, no.
Okay.
I couldn't even. Gosh, you're going back quite a
That's
way.
what I was going to say.
Nope. Believe it or not, and I never heard of her before, Sister Janet Mead. She was actually a nun that could sing.
Okay.
I was just like,
We had a Aretha Franklin guess.
yeah,
That would have been a pretty good guess.
yeah, you would.
Yeah.
I would have thought somebody around then, or somebody last week when we actually said Patsy Cline, and they went with the old stuff. But
But
yeah,
I don't throw them in a rock category or Aretha Franklin. That's why I wasn't even going down that vein.
somebody said that too the other day. Rosemary Clooney. But so I guess we're not giving it away again this week.
No.
We have to come up with another question. Well, the thing will be antique by the time we give it away.
That is.
Send some
right?
pictures to Shahan. He may buy it from you. Shahan's always looking for Drew Estate stuff. Send him a picture. He'll buy it from you. He'll buy so you can buy some extra cigars with it.
No. See, we got about 8 of those left, man. 6, 7, or 8 of those left. They gave us like 14 of them.
What?
Really?
Yeah, they had a Drew Estates event. They were sitting at the last time we went in. Yeah, you were there with us.
I wasn't there for that.
It might have been your dad or somebody helped me carry. Oh, Scotty was with us. And I said, you want to get rid of a couple of those? He says, man, take them all. They're just in the way.
No shit.
This was
And I washed my notepad, by the way.
Threw them in the back of the truck and went on our way.
they're having
No
another
kidding.
event this week.
Yeah,
And I washed my notepad that I carried around for like 2 years.
you watched it.
Yeah, it was in the washer.
And they are having, Havana Rays in Mobile, Alabama is having a Drew Estates event Friday night. It's an acid event. It's an acid 20 event. I'm not so much. I think they're going to get hurt big time if the FDA goes with gets their way when it comes to flavored cigars or infused cigars. Drew Estates can be hurt.
Yeah, I suspect when that ruling comes out and how that whole thing shakes out, I suspect that the amount of money that they're cigars that are flavored that would be impacted by the FDA makes them that much money that they will just throw so much money legally at the problem and just either kind of force the FDA to concede, which I don't see happening, or just delay the living hell out of it.
Yes.
What are they going to do to you? Well, what kind of effect is it going to have on you if the FDA comes down with everything that they're trying to get done?
Everything I read, we're gonna be fine. You know, we'll be fine.
Good.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite cigars, man.
Yeah, appreciate it.
What else we got? What else I got?
Well, hey, I appreciate you guys having me on and let me talk a little bit about the new Vitolas that are out. They're going to be available probably this weekend on the VSRCigarFan.com webpage, and then anywhere that you get some Stogie Road cigars, we're going to be reaching out to our retail partners and and letting them have the first dibs on ordering the Lanceros and the Robustos. But you guys were talking about the Super Bowl earlier in football.
Yes. Who do you think?
You said the Rams.
I don't talk shit about football because I have strayed away from pro football for the last several years. I really have. I lost interest in it. I didn't like all the political stuff, but really at the end of the day, I mean, you can skip over that and watch good football. But I just really felt that the referees were getting too actively involved, and you look at the highlight reels from the '70s and even the '80s and the '90s, and there's throwing penalties left and right. I just got sick and tired of it, and I just lost interest. With that said, I've been a Rams fan since I was probably 7 or 8 years old, all the way back to the John Cappelletti days.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
Penn State, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not a
Yep.
Penn State. I'm not a Penn State fan, but I watched the movie Something for Joey.
That's a good movie.
Which fantastic movie. And at the end of the movie, I asked my dad. I said, "Who's he play for?" And he said he was drafted by the Rams. And he never did much. He played for the Rams for a few years and then played with the Chargers for a little bit and blocked for Chuck Muncie. And then, he kind of retired. But I've always been a Rams fan since the Cappelletti days with Pat Hayden at quarterback. And then Vince Ferragamo came in.
Vince. He played for
Cool.
He was another one like Warren Moon that came from the Canadian League.
So you're going to Rams all the way.
I think that I'm kind of torn because watching the games, I really wanted to see Tom Brady win another Super Bowl. I did. I'm a Tom Brady fan. The guy's amazing. He's at his age and doing what he's doing. I'm impressed by it. It blows me away. So, and even when they played the Rams, I was kind of torn, but I like Joe Burrows. I really want to see him. I really want to see him do well. I think he's even catching too much shit about his joke about Diamond Necklace. I'm like, give me a freaking break. Let the guy alone.
Absolutely.
But I am a Matt Stafford fan. I've always been a fan of his, even when he was in Detroit. And when he came to the Rams, I was really excited about that. And I think the Rams are gonna. I think their defense is going to really give Burrows a hard time. I think he's going to be running for his life.
What we talking about yesterday?
Yeah, Matt Stafford just doesn't need to be a knucklehead and throw some bad passes.
On paper, who should win that game?
Oh yeah, statistically, if I'm looking at it with my brain, I'm going Rams. If I'm putting money on it, I got to go Rams. But I'll still be rooting for the Bengals.
I'm not a fan of either team, but I'm like you. For some reason, I didn't think Joe Burrows was going to make it out of college. I didn't think he was going to be any good. And I'll eat what I said.
He grew.
He performed well. I'd like to see him win just to be alone the first quarterback to ever win the national championship, the Heisman, and the Super Bowl. I mean, that would be
monumental.
And if he won the Super Bowl MVP, it's just another one.
He's got to perform though. I got a question. Who's your favorite? And I know Marshall Faulk was big with the Rams when they were in St. Louis and stuff, but to me, the best running back for the Rams ever wasn't Marshall Faulk.
Eric Dickerson.
Nobody would ever say it
Absolutely.
was Marshall Faulk.
Yeah, Eric
I think-
Dickerson.
I think anybody that saw Dickerson play or knows anything about the guy would have to say Dickerson.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he,
in
was,
his day,
He was a real good guy too,
he was fun to watch.
and he was a good guy.
in his
he
day, Eric Dickerson was the man. But I've seen Eric Dickerson reduced to being afraid to run when Mike Singletary just laid a massive hit on him during one of the playoff games. Just amazing hit. I was always a fan of Wendell Tyler back in the 70s and early days when, back in the early days of the Rams as a running back. I always really liked him. I thought he was elusive and ran the ball rather well. But yeah, Dickerson, there's no doubt. He was the man. Marshall Faulk is pretty impressive too. But
I got a
Dickerson's
question
just
for you.
man.
One more question before you go.
Here's one for you. You say you're a big fan of the 70s, but you also say you're a Tom Brady fan. How many years would Tom Brady have played in the NFL if he were in the 70s? You
Probably
think he's
not as
hit
many.
22 years there?
No, hell no. I mean, I think the rules and the way that they run things, I think, benefit a lot of the quarterbacks today. I think one of the things that have really helped out Tom Brady's longevity is he's been he keeps in great shape, and obviously I think genetics have a lot to do with it. But as he was, his career continued, he just became a smarter quarterback. I just think he was getting rid of the ball a lot faster, and was avoiding getting hit in that fashion. But I don't think a lot of these guys would be able to survive what was allowed back in the 70s and even in the 80s,
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, they were showing videos. I was watching a video clip of a highlight film from the 70s, and then every time something happened, they'd show a hit, in today's sport, and they show a flag being thrown, and they showed Terry Bradshaw getting picked up and slammed on his head.
Take that question the other way and go, what would have Montana's or Tarkenton's stats been if they were playing nowadays?
Or Stabler.
The Stabler.
The snake.
Kenny Stabler, I think he still would. You got to remember something too. If a lot of those guys played in today's league, they wouldn't be able to survive because all they did was go out. And Kenny Stabler said that there was times that he was reading the playbook, sitting next to the jukebox, using the jukebox light while he was pissed drunk.
Yeah.
These guys nowadays, I mean, they're tremendous athletes. They're freaking, they eat, they live, they breathe, they lift, but it's everything that they do is to keep their bodies in tip-top performance. And back then, you got, guys like John Matuszek that was staying out till 4 a.m. the night before the Super Bowl.
That's nuts, man.
Yeah.
Jack Lambert was smoking, smoking cigarettes in the locker room.
Yeah, it's like Babe Ruth in baseball.
Yeah.
How many times he played drunk, they said.
Yeah.
It's
All
pretty
right.
amazing.
All right, Curry, appreciate it. We all appreciate it. You got work to do. Go unwrap them.
Yes,
What
sir.
my address. You know what my address is.
Yeah, I'll be in touch with you. Thanks a lot, guys.
All
I
right,
appreciate
Curry.
you
Have a
having
good
me on,
night,
man.
brother.
We look
We'll see
forward to your event at Coast Cigar.
Is that the night, Barrett?
It's up to. We only got 5 minutes anyway. Yeah, we can call. But I was going to say, I'll go through whoever signed on today and just put their names on a wheel and get rid of this thing.
Okay.
So I'll reach out to one of you guys, whoever it is, and hopefully somebody we don't have to mail because it's pretty heavy.
Only one person made a guess. So
But Tom Burgess did.
We'll give it to whoever.
All right,
signed
we'll
on.
figure it out.
Thanks, folks. Appreciate
right.
it. Thanks,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Morty, for filling in.
Yeah, thanks, Morty
You
Facts, for
Dan.
filling in. And from the 5.5 Legs Virtual Cigar Lounge, we're going to bid you good night until next Tuesday at 6:30. Good night, folks.
Later, folks.